Hello, all you hardcores out there. How are you doing? It's Russ here from Porky's International. It's our sister channel to Porky's Corner. We're just waiting for Craig from Matrix Fitness. I think he's out there in Lancashire to log on. Here we go. Here's Craig. Women love him, men want to be him. How you doing, lad?
You all right, mate?
What are you on with?
No, a lot. Just waiting for you.
Waiting for me. Sorry I'm late, mate.
That's all right. Friday, isn't it?
Bit of bird trouble. You know, mobile phones and all that, the worst things that in world, aren't they? I think at times.
Dangerous.
You know what I mean? So people, I don't know, read into too much. But hope you're well.
I'm all right, mate. Looking well yourself?
Yeah, well, I've been waiting just now. Bang on £154. That's all right, then, isn't it? 6 o'clock at night. I need to be about 12 though, don't I really? But I feel all right, feel fit in that, Craig. But I've got 8% body fat, 8.2. It's all right, isn't it?
Low.
Low, isn't it, that?
Yeah.
You
That's
know the reps, aren't there? Loads of reps, like weights and that. It's pretty mundane crap, isn't it? I think so. Right,
yeah.
right?
Can get tedious just doing high reps.
Yeah, like 50 reps and stuff. You like weights, keep going. You still get that burn, it just takes longer to get, doesn't it? You know.
Yeah.
But I'll have to come over and have a session in your gym.
Yeah, man. Anytime you're ready.
Yeah, whereabouts are you? Blackburn.
Worcestershire, so
Oh, Worcestershire.
about 45 minutes from Birmingham.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How far are you from Sutton Coldfield?
Probably about the same, roughly. Hour, maybe an hour and 10, something like that.
Well, I can do Birmingham spring morning on M1 if I take my plates off in an hour.
Yeah, easy.
About that 50 mile an hour average speed carry on.
Oh, everywhere, all
Uh,
the way up and down.
we'll not talk boxing because we do that on Porky's Corner, but you wanted to talk about snooker, didn't you, Craig?
Yeah, it was a common interest of ours, so
Yeah,
thought it'd be
yeah.
a topic.
Do you think the game's
Um,
changed since the heyday? Because round
yeah,
about 1980 till about 87, it was red hot, wasn't it? 88. And then it sort of died, didn't it, a little bit? Do you think?
yeah, I think. Well, I was only born in '86,
Yeah.
so I didn't really start watching it as like a sort of hardcore fan till probably about 2000, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
But obviously, I know a bit of snooker history, and yeah, I think there's like everything, it has eras, doesn't it? And the '90s were a bit dull because of Hendry.
Yeah.
So, and there wasn't really because he was that good. He was kind of like the new breed, wasn't he? So the old guard that was still knocking around, he was just walking over them easy because he had such a different attacking style
Mm.
in the in the game compared to the more sort of tactical safety
You're on about
guys.
here, Stephen Hendry.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, ruthless player, mate. Ruthless.
yeah, exactly. Just boom, 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 no messing about.
Ruthless under
Yeah,
pressure.
yeah. Get the reds open as quick as you can and win the frame.
Well, my take on snooker is this: when I play, I always try and keep the cue ball. You know, if you're playing club players, try and keep the cue ball down where the points are. Do you know what I mean? But too many of them, in my opinion, in pro game, all want to play safe and get it down to the bulk area, don't they? Why not keep it down the other area and hope
Yeah,
that the balls open up? I mean, if you go back to 80s and watch the matches, the people like Alex Higgins, they wanted to break them up and get the games going, but they'd get to 50 and 60, make a mistake. Then your Steve Davises and pounce, wouldn't they? But they weren't the guys that wanted to break them up. Do you know what I mean? They used to drag frames out. Do you know what I mean? Kind of thing, and grind you down
yeah.
like Cliff Foreman.
Oh, the grinder. Yeah,
Grinder.
I've met him. He's a nice bloke.
Cliff.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy.
Mm.
It was a long, well, I don't know how long ago, maybe 10 years ago now, but I'm sure he's still sound. Um, yeah, so the problem with being more attacking nowadays is that they're all so good. You leave them half a chance, and that's it. So they have to have that element of safety to what they do. Yeah, they have to be as cautious as possible, really, because they just got no chance of getting away with leaving anything otherwise.
Mm.
But yeah, I think the game. I think now, like right now, having watched a bit more recently, I sort of like I dip in and out of it a bit now because there's so many tournaments on now that it kind of loses its spark. There's like nothing special about them. It's really oversaturated, I think, with there's tournaments on. Obviously, the BBC have got the Triple Crown ones. Then you got all sorts on ITV4 and Eurosport, and there's just too much to watch. You could literally be watching snooker all the time, and I think it loses its sort of interest a little bit because these smaller tournaments, half the players, it's like they can't really be bothered with it anyway. But their rankings dependent on their earnings now, isn't it? So that's the sort of incentive to keep turning up.
What do you think to that Q school that they send them to, the Hearns, Barry Hearn? They make them go through that, don't they?
Yeah, I think it's. I don't know too much about it actually. I never really paid that much attention to it. I think it's been quite good for some of the like older players who are still good enough to mix it up a bit. But because there's been a couple that have gone through Q school and got back on the tour because you win a tour card again, don't you, if you get through it. So I guess I suppose it's kind of a good thing. I think it's just I don't know like I said, I don't really know what the ins and outs of it are, but if it's something that gives people the opportunity to get on the pro tour as well as just earning your way on there normally, then I think it's probably quite a good idea.
Yeah, yeah. What do you think's at prize money now that they're handing out? Because the 147 money, it's not like it
Yeah.
back in the day, is it now?
No, and again, I think that's because their standard of break building now is so good that you just get them way more frequent. Like it's really rare, wouldn't it, that you'd see a 147 back in the day. Again, because of the table quality as well and the cloths and stuff. But yeah, I think they should keep the 147 grand prize for the World Championship if you do a 147 because it just makes it special, doesn't it? And more people would go for it, which makes it more exciting.
Yeah, yeah.
There was one year where, what year would it have been? 2008, I think, when Ronnie made one. And then about 2 days later, Ali Carter made one as well. So we had to split the 147 grand prize with him. It was 08 or 09, one of those two. I think
Yeah,
O'Sullivan's one.
Ronnie got it. What did you say? So when Ronnie got a 147 in 97,
No,
5 minute
Ronnie got one in. Well, he's had loads, didn't he? But in 2000, I'm sure it was 2008 that he made one in the World Championships.
Oh, he
And
got
then
nothing
about
for it, didn't it? 4 grand or something, what it? Or
then
something.
about yeah, no, that was when they still had the 147 grand. But
Oh, yeah.
Carter made one a couple of days later, so they had to split the prize.
Yeah.
Because Ronnie was, I remember Ronnie doing interviews afterwards saying it's like, oh, I might buy myself a new Bentley with that money. And then a couple of days later, after Carter had made, we said, oh, maybe I'll just have a pair of running trainers then, because he had to split the dough.
They were practice partners, weren't they? But they fell out, didn't they?
That's right, yeah. But Carter seems like Carter doesn't really like anyone. He's a bit. He's always got a bit of a mood on him for some
Yeah.
reason. I know he's had health problems and stuff, hasn't he? So, but he shouldn't really. He's still at the top of his game, really.
Yeah.
But going back to the prize money thing, obviously we just had the UK Championships, which is, I suppose you would argue, it's the third biggest tournament after the Masters and the Worlds.
Yeah.
And the prize money was pretty crap, I thought. I think it was 250 for the winner, 100 grand for the runner up. But then when you went back to the quarter final place was 25 grand. That's pretty poor, isn't it? I would say.
What do you think to the amount of tournaments that they're making them play now? Because they're making them go all over, aren't they, to keep the ranking? Do you think?
It's like, well, it's like Barry Hearn always says, we'll make them earn their money because he's a slave driver, isn't he? It hasn't changed from back in his boxing promoting days. I suppose in a way, it's good for the lower ranked players because they have more opportunity to earn. But you can tell the top 16 lot don't like it because they can drop in it. You see the top 16 change all the time now. And you see guys in there who you're like, bloody hell, where's he come from? I don't know anything about him, but he's just had like a good result in one of the tournaments and suddenly he's in the top 16 because he's got X amount extra earnings. But I think the top 16 is quite dull at the moment.
Yeah.
I think well, who is there that shines really?
I mean, if you
Ronnie's
take Ronnie
inconsistent.
O'Sullivan out, take Ronnie O'Sullivan out of the equation,
Yeah.
all stack of cards comes tumbling down, doesn't it, really?
Yeah. Well, I don't think he actually likes being in this country anymore. He spends loads of time in China. And I don't know if you follow him or anything on any social media, but when he's on Instagram and he's over there, he does nothing but slate the UK and praise China.
Mm.
And when he is in one of the tournaments here, all he seems to do is slag it off. The conditions, the state of the venue, the money. But I suppose when you've achieved his level, kind of like you're a law unto yourself at that point, aren't you? You can just do what you like.
Yeah, yeah, I see where you're coming from there. I see where you're coming from, but I think Ronnie's best player in the world on his day, isn't he, really? Attacking wise.
So, yeah, 100%. Yeah.
What do
Even
you think?
now that he's
Yeah, yeah.
pushed
What do you think
50.
about John Higgins? Do you think he's still got it?
I would say he's still got the skills, but I actually hate him. After that scandal way back, what was it, 2007, where they did that, was it the News of the World?
Yeah.
Put him, well, basically entrapped him into agreeing to throw matches and um, certain frames for, I think it was like 300 grand or something. Him and his manager sat there having a vodka martini or whatever it was with these reporters, thinking they were setting up some match fixing. And then it was in the papers, and he got away with it. Really, they gave him a 6 month, bit like Conor Ben, 6 month backdated ban essentially,
Huh.
which half of which was during the off season, and
Oh, John
then
Higgins.
yeah, and then I think the reason for that was because Snooker was in the doldrums at the time. It was really struggling, and I think he was top dog at the time. So if the star player had been caught match fixing, it would have ended the game. So they had to just let his lie go and just slap him on the wrist.
He made out he agreed it out of fear because it was mafia and all that. They gave him
Yeah,
the right load of shit. And look what they did to the big fat kid. They gave him a
Stephen
12
Lee.
year ban, didn't they, Stephen Lee?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah,
Johnny
exactly.
there were caught with his hand in till.
Yeah.
And they never did him, did they?
No, you watch the video and it's really obvious that he's probably done it before with how casually he agreed to it, and he already knew how he was going to make the money disappear. So they said, "Oh, how can you make 300 grand disappear in your money?" So he said, "Oh, I can put it in some property in Spain or something." He knows what he's going to do with it straight away. And when it came out, his manager quit, didn't he, and did a runner, and I don't think anyone's ever seen him again.
Well, this is how I
So
put it, right? I'm not going to say who told me this, but everybody knows that certain snooker players they get tipped off if they're going to get tested like that. Do you know what I mean?
really,
Oh yeah, they get tipped off. So look, they run darts, they run snooker, don't they? Right? They're trying to run boxing. You've just seen all this with Conor Ben. It's just the
mm,
same, but it's just a different sport. That's
yeah.
all. The control freaks, them down there at Matchroom. Ain't that right, Bazza? Yeah.
Mm.
So it is what it is. But what do you think to the standard, Craig, of snooker of these players coming through? Because if I had my time again, and obviously if I were 14, 15 year old and I had a bit of a sponsor, 6, 7, 8 hours a day, I think I
Yeah,
could white flow with some of these. I think if I had 6 hours a day now for 3 months, I could really compete against some of these that are breaking through and really
yeah,
give me a good game over best of 9 or something. I don't think the standard's very good. I think the safety play is shocking.
yeah. I guess I wonder if that is because the game is based more on attack now because everyone's desperate to make big breaks. And I think a lot of the old guard, like Terry Griffiths, has just passed away, hasn't he? And Ray Reardon, who were coaches, they would have taught that sort of more safety aspect of the game to these young lot. But now, I suppose most of the coaches are a bit younger in terms of, compared to Reardon and Griffiths. So maybe it is that they're not getting that mentoring on the safety side of the game, which affects everything else. You saw it with Judd Trump, actually. It was just like when he first broke out, it was just out and out attack, wasn't he? And then he came up against some of the old guard who had both sides of the game, and he would lose each time. So he lost to Higgins in his first World Final, didn't he? And since then, he's really refined his safety game, and it's paying dividends because he's world number one now, isn't he? And he's just won the UK Championship. So yeah, I think it's probably because of the game being more directed towards attack rather than safety play. But then the fans want to see more attacking snooker, don't they? It's more entertaining.
Tell me about it.
Do you play much
I don't
nowadays?
play snooker now. I play a lot of pool.
Okay.
I was a bit full professional when I left school. Snooker, I don't think I had patience for it. I don't mind throwing out balls down and having a good knock. You know what I mean? I could probably get 8, 9 reds in and 8, 9 colours, on any given day, but that's just playing on myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like 18 shots, isn't it?
That's good cue ball control, though, isn't it? To be able to do that, even in practice.
Yeah, but you're spreading them out yourself, aren't you? You're not going to do that in a match. I probably had a 40, 38s, 40s, 20s, in matches. So
yeah.
You down, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, but I can, if I'm all right and I'm in that zone, I can pot them off at lampshades. Spread them all out and I'll just lose myself for a couple of hours. That's how I have to take myself away from this. I'll just get my cue.
Yeah.
Play and just lose myself for a couple of hours. But I think
go
on, sorry.
If you come down this way, there's no in Malvern now where I live. There's nowhere to play snooker. There used to be. Willie Thorne used to own a club here.
He's brown bread.
And yeah. Long time ago now, it was his club. He owned a few, and I used to play there a lot, and that's gone. There's a social club that's got a couple of tables, but as soon as the team players come in, you're off the table because they want it, obviously.
Yeah.
There's a golf club in Malvern that has got a snooker table in a room upstairs. I've joined there now, so you pay your annual membership just to be a social member. So you can't play golf, but you can go in, use the bar, and you can play snooker. So if you're ever coming down this way, I'll take you up there. We can have a knock.
Yeah, we'll have a knock. Yeah, I haven't played for a bit. My touch is probably awful, but
likewise, yeah.
But if you get your touch right, it takes a bit to get your touch right. Once you get your touch right, you're all right. I mean, it's all right having a good cue, and I've got a beautiful cue here, Burroughs and Watt, first edition, 1950. Yeah, it's worth 19. So it's 94-year-old. So in 6 years, worth a lot of money. This cue I've got. I've had it refurbished because in them days, the balls were made of ivory, weren't they? In 1930s. Really, they're made of anthracite now, aren't they? These speed balls, but the shaft on it were a lot thicker. Like 12.5 mil tip. Well, most tips nowadays are 9.5 mil, aren't they? So I had it all properly in that, but it's an original Burroughs and Watt. Yeah, it's a good cue.
Look after that. That's a valuable cue.
Yeah, it's. Have you seen the interview Ronnie O'Sullivan does on about Alex Higgins? And he said on YouTube, if you Google Ronnie O'Sullivan, Alex Higgins, and he said he loves him and all that, but he said when he first met Alex, there's a picture, and he's got this cue, a Burroughs and Watt cue. His dad get a car for it, and Alex played him, and he's only 10, Ronnie, and he's got this picture, and Alex was like, "That's a nice cue." Looking at his cue, I've got the first edition one.
Wow.
So I'm like. Even though I don't,
I've not seen that interview. But Ronnie's got some funny interviews over the years.
Pardon?
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, Alex Higgins was just standalone genius, wasn't he? Just so good.
Listen, he was ahead of his time. He did everything that he shouldn't do. He moved on the shot. When he broke off the other side of the colours to everybody else. He always tried to keep the cue ball down the bottom end.
Yeah.
He wouldn't do everything textbook. He'd like to express himself. He'd clear up and use all colours, whereas others, they just want to stay around there pink and black, but he'd just express himself, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
the long pots and stuff like that instead of the little dab shots and that.
But, it was phenomenal. ridiculous, really. It just shows that his natural talent to be able to do it
Oh,
the way he did it
unbelievable
without,
player,
you know,
unbelievable player.
you can tell that's just how he picked up a cue as a kid, and he's just taught himself to do it that way. A bit like Jimmy White, really. Like I know he's sort of like the second coming of the sort of like bad boys player, if you like.
Mm.
I love Jimmy White. He's probably my favourite player to watch when he was back in the day. Obviously, I know he still plays now, but it's nothing like '80s Jimmy for me. It's the best.
Uh, yeah, who do you think's the number one at the moment in the world, Craig?
Judd Trump. He
Is it
seems to be, yeah, he seems to be the most consistent with his form at the moment, at least. I know Kyron Wilson won the World Championship, but he's quite hit and miss, I think, with his standard. But Trump's, I think they fear Trump a little bit because he's such a good long potter,
Mm.
and he can mix, like I said earlier, he can mix it up with all sorts of style now. So he's got the safety element, he's got the really attacking element, and he's not afraid to go for it. I think he's got a decent bit of bottle about him nowadays as well. Now that he's a bit more mature, so yeah, I'd say he's number one. I don't know what's happened to the likes of like Neil Robertson. He was formidable at one point, wasn't he? But he's just since he went vegan, rubbish. It's just, it's just
No
he
identity,
sits.
has he? He's no identity, Craig, has he?
I know he sits there eating a banana in between the frames. He's terrible since.
But I ain't got no time for snooker like I used to have back in the day. I think
Mm,
it's too many favourites and too many favours done for people. I think the punditry is shocking. I really
yeah,
think the punditry is shocking. And like I said earlier, I think if Ronnie walks away, I think the whole stack of cards comes tumbling down.
yeah.
I hope it-
It is a bit of a worry that. And I think he knows that as well, which is why he plays up all the time because he knows they won't really punish him because they don't want him to go. But they do need we need a couple of like British hotshot stars to come through, don't we? And sort of like him and like Williams, Higgins, and O'Sullivan did in '92, the new kids on the block sort of thing. We need another bunch of those, but with the lack of snooker clubs and stuff around now, I think it's going to be really hard to get that. Because how many kids do you know go and play snooker that are 8 or 9 years old
not
or
many.
know of?
My
Like
team.
hardly any, because there's nowhere to go really. There used to be a Riley's in Worcester, just up the road from me as well, and that shut down after COVID. It was a dump by the end, though. They obviously weren't putting any money into it at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a shame. It is a great game, it really is.
Mm. Uh, do you think the women's snooker will ever take off? Because tried it with boxing, haven't they?
Just no way. Again, I'll ask the same question. How many women do you know go and have a game of snooker?
None.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's nothing wrong with that either. It's just, it's just one thing men are interested in that women aren't. Who cares? Like, it's obviously there are some really good female players. Some of them are on the pro tour now. Occasionally, they don't win a lot, but again shows the sort of standards. Like when you compare it, say the women's England team to the men's England team in football.
Yeah.
If they played each other, the men would hammer
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
them. But yeah, I don't think women's snooker is ever going to take off. Not a chance.
Mm.
Um, Again, just nowhere near enough interest in it. The funny thing, actually, I can't remember where it was. It was somewhere over near us in Worcester or Droitwich somewhere. They used back in the day. They wouldn't get away with it now, but back in the day, there used to be um, like a social club kind of place, and to get to the snooker room, you had to go through the gents' toilets, so women couldn't get in there. There was a gents' toilets door entrance. Then out the other side of the gents, there was the snooker room. So it was men only. Imagine trying to get away with that now.
Oh,
Place to
unbelievable.
be shut down within a week. It would, wouldn't it? Cancelled.
Mm.
Shamed all over the news.
Tell me about your gym that you've got, Craig. What's it called and where is it?
It's in Malvern. It's called Matrix Fitness.
How long you had that?
Mostly personal training. I've had that be 8 years in April next year.
How long you had that gym?
Yeah.
And
So
who's
most of the,
you run it by yourself or with your partner or?
it's just mine. My partner works there as well. She's a PT as well. Um, and then I've got two other coaches that work out of there. And I've got a girl who teaches yoga and stuff there as well.
Are you busy?
Yeah, busy with one-to-one personal training. Keeps me busy. I've got I run a couple of group training sessions as well, early mornings. So I was in the gym at 6 this morning with a group of 8 or 9 people. And then most of my day time is filled with one-to-one coaching.
Is it lucrative, Craig?
Well, I wish it was more lucrative, but I don't do too bad. But really, like gyms, yeah, if you're the gyms, like a typical commercial gym where Joe Bloggs comes and signs up for 40 quid a month and then never goes to the gym, paying his direct debit every month. Those are the sort of gyms that are lucrative because
Well, you sign up for a year, you go a month, and then they keep the other 11 months.
exactly, yeah.
That's
So
David Lloyd's and stuff like that.
yeah, exactly. There's an anytime fitness involvement, and it's a decent, smart gym, but they rely on people signing up and then not going. That's what they want, really, because I know at one point they had like something like 850 members on the books,
Yeah.
and probably only the same 100 go regularly. But they're still collecting money from all those 800. So that's 800 times 40, quite a lot of money each month, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh God, yeah, of course it is.
It's a hefty old wedge.
Yeah. What other sports do you like, Craig?
Um, well, obviously boxing. That's how we got chatting in the first place. Snooker. I've always been into wrestling, WWE.
Hulk Hogan, all that nonsense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I used to be a little
Pantomime,
bit
isn't it?
involved. Say again.
Pantomime stuff in it, all that.
Yeah, but it's fun.
What
It's
men
one of the
running
reasons
about with
I
a pair
like
of knickers?
jumping off the ropes. Yeah, I was into it when I was a kid, and I don't watch it anymore really. I watch old stuff because I like sort of the nostalgia of it now, but modern day wrestling's terrible as
Yeah.
far as I'm concerned. So I couldn't watch it now, but old stuff from the 80s and 90s I like. Other than that, I'm not really into sport, which is weird for somebody who's in the health and fitness industry, but yeah, got just like a contrast of things. Boxing, snooker, similar to you, I suppose. And that's it, really. They're my two
Like
main
cricket.
things.
Like cricket.
Nah, never ever got into
Football there.
football. A bit when I was a kid, but not so much now. Uh, it's another game I think that's been ruined by money. Too much money.
What do you think we'll talk about, well, this isn't boxing, is it? It's, I don't know what they call it. Tommy Fury. What did I say over there on Porky's Corner? I said I've heard that Tommy's going to pull out at Down Till fight. And what's he going to do this morning?
I read that earlier. Yeah.
Hey, there's a mole in the camp, Tommy!
They seem to have a few people in the Fury end of things that have got loose lips, haven't they? Tyson's camp always seems to leak stuff out as well. But yeah, I'm not surprised. I can't see why really though Tommy would want to pull out of that because the reason he's given is nonsense. Obviously, he always said he was going to kick me, but if that happens in the middle of a fight, it happens. Everyone would jump in the ring and stop it anyway, wouldn't they? So I don't really get what the real reason is unless he's been offered something more lucrative. Perhaps he's getting Jake Paul too.
I don't know, but I won't put it past them trying to build this Till fight up to be bigger.
Yeah.
Just done it for that kind of reason to let it grow a bit,
Yeah,
Like
I
to play
read
the game, don't they?
Yeah, I read a few of the comments about that, just sort of saying perhaps they're just going to bring it along and build it up to be a bit more than what it is
You
now.
won't put it past Tommy being frightened because he's had a couple of taps on leg off Tom Aspinall, hasn't he? And he's probably thinking, "Oh, if I get tapped
Don't
off,
fancy one of them.
I don't
Yeah,
fancy being shown up here, iced on TV and all that."
yeah,
But
yeah,
if that is his excuse for pulling out, what a pussy out that is, isn't it? Eh?
yeah. When was it supposed to be? January.
January 18th, yeah.
Perhaps it's because nobody bought any tickets.
Wow.
Might not have been. Who cares about it?
Well,
Is the
6 weeks,
question.
6 weeks tomorrow, isn't it, or something, or 6 week or whatever.
Yeah, so not very far off, really. And I follow boxing, but I don't really consider that to be boxing worthy of my attention. So, yeah, I didn't even know when it was. If you'd have asked me, I would have probably said February, maybe, because they've had the presser at that. But yeah, God knows. Perhaps he just wants to enjoy Christmas without having to train.
Maybe it's I don't know, but I don't think Tommy's ever going to do it as a boxer because he can't make 12.5 stone and he gets
No.
knocked as a cruiserweight by anybody at area level, wouldn't he? So he's just going to be Mr. Stepbrother to Tyson and try and pencil him through this influencer stuff, isn't it? Basically, that's all.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
And
his dad's 50% partner with him. I've heard today, so he must hold that about.
well, Big John's 50% for training
Big
or
John.
holding the pads.
100 on the hard road, 100 by way of the lives we're not worth living. £100,000 bare knuckle fight. I iced him. I forgot his name though.
Yeah.
You could make it up, could you?
Well, it'd be interesting to see if John's anywhere near Tyson in the Usyk fight.
They're not going to have him around fight week, are they? Surely after what he did last time.
Yeah, they can't do, can they?
Yeah.
And on fight night, you shouldn't be anywhere near the corner either. Just be in the crowd, front row, sit there and just stay out of the way.
Okay,
Sit there with Paris.
Right then, Craig. Listen, thanks for coming on. It's been a real tonic to speak to you. We've spoke about snooker and whatnot. So
Been a long time, mate. I've been on for yonks.
yeah, it has. It sure has, mate. So keep in touch, and
Yeah, well, of course.
we'll do another one. Yeah, I can do it. We'll
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll do a boxing one.
about boxing sometime. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Maybe I don't know. Maybe after the Fury Usyk. I'm sure you'll have people queuing up to do it after that. But
Yeah. We'll do something. Yeah. All
yeah,
right.
let's not bother talking about Dillian White and Tete.
Oh my God.
That's next weekend, isn't it?
Oh, Lawrence Okoli. He's all right.
Oh yeah, that's
Did
on
he weigh
there.
260 odd pound?
Okoli.
He need 260 odd pound or something at the moment, Okoli. In weight, I don't know. I'm hearing.
What's he going to look like with his shirt off then?
I know he's
'Cause
heavy.
he's
That's
quite
heavy,
lanky, isn't he?
because he was 200 pound cruiserweight, wasn't he, last year?
Yeah, he's just going to have a big belly on him.
It'd be a big lump, mate. He's a big lad, Lawrence. I've met him.
Yeah, I remember you saying.
Okay then, mate. Well, listen, thanks for coming on, Craig. All the best.
Pleasure, mate. Thank you.
Doing Matrix Fitness in Worcester. Marlbury, is it? Yeah?
Malvern.
Melbourne. All right.
Yeah.
Bye.
Cheers, mate. Take it easy.
Bye. Bye.
See you, pal.
Porky's Corner is proud to be sponsored by Spartan Site Solutions. They are specialists in civil engineering and demolition contracts for the construction industry. Interested parties should visit their website or contact Porky's Corner for a referral at porkycorner@mail.com.